like Tapu Lele GX, Drampa GX Garbodor. There's an Oricorio, and then there's a Tech Mewtwo from Evolutions.
Yeah, we see the Mewtwo has that psychic attack. I just think preying on things that are psychic weak, like Espeon and
I
Garbodor, I
think
imagine.
Espeon's probably the biggest target for it.
Yeah. Which you've seen, I know that some players, I know Michael Primerwatt and Ben Potter were considering that in their Drampa Garbodor list originally, like we were talking about back in the, the format just came out in Seattle and people were playing a lot of different things, but I haven't seen it too much recently, besides, of course, here with Sam. Looks like players are getting set up.
It does look like Ryan did start with the regular Volcanion, the power heater one.
Let's go ahead and take
at
a
his
look.
prizes. Nothing too bad.
Yeah, 2 Fire Energy, Brooklet Hill, nothing too extreme. Let's go ahead
And we
and take
do
a
see
look
he's actually playing Fighting Fairy Belt, something that people have kind of forgotten by the wayside with Choice Band coming out. They're like, well, let's play with this new shiny tool and leave the old ones by the wayside.
Right. So we saw that Sam's Hex Maniac was prized. Did you see anything? Do you think that's going to be important in this matchup? Do you think anything in Sam's prizes were too important?
Definitely the Hex Maniac. Steam Up is the ability for Volcanion EX, and that's Ryan's really only way to build up the damage to be able to one-hit KO like Drampa GXs and Tapu Lele's and all that stuff. And we see the turn 1 Brooklet Hill.
Yeah, Brooklet Hill, one of the stadiums we were just talking about, is allowing you to get a basic water or fighting Pokemon, which because of Volcanion EX's dual type will allow you to search it out. Again, just makes the deck very consistent. You want multiple Volcanions out, and that's exactly what Brooklet Hill could provide for you turn after turn without having to use anything like an item card.
Yeah, it's definitely not the thing people would probably think first when Brooklet Hill came out. It's like, oh, well, I can get Volcanion EX.
Right. And Ryan playing an N. He Wonder Tags for the N. Going to play it, just reset both players' hands down to 6 prizes. So, Jeremy, you mentioned that Ryan started with the non-EX Volcanion. That's just your best starter in this matchup, right? That's exactly what you want to be doing.
Yeah, it just helps you with your energy acceleration. And you kind of play that 7 prize game. And especially against a deck like Garbodor that really attacks a lot with just 1 prize attackers, you kind of want to try to keep pace with them.
Yeah, so we see the attachment on the active Volcanion. Another EX hits the bench, and of course Ryan's going first, cannot attack, and passes the turn back to Sam.
Yeah, definitely a fine turn from Ryan. He didn't really need much more, and as long as he has a couple fire in his hand for some steam ups next turn, supporter to keep going, that's all he really can hope for.
So talk to us about what Sam is doing right now. He's activating Brooklet Hill to look through his deck.
This is a thing I love, okay? Most people don't really think about it, but you can use your opponent's Brooklet Hill too. Even if you don't have water Pokemon or fighting Pokemon in your deck, the ability to search your deck and just figure out what your prizes are without even playing a card,
yep,
it's insane to me. I love it, and it's something you see like the best players always do.
And Sam, I've known Sam for a while. Like you said, he's kind of part of a Pacific Northwest testing group, even though he lives in New York. And I think during Hawaii World in 2012, I think he was on record as telling me, "You're not playing correctly if you don't memorize your prizes on turn 1." Oh,
oh no,
wow, yeah, it looks like
we saw the acid spray, tails, and then just a double steam up, knocking out the Trubbish, and Sam had nothing.
Yeah, so Ryan was shortcutting a little bit there. They're both very skilled players, want to save time. He was just showing that he can double steam up and knock out the lone Trubbish on Sam's side. So not the best way for the game 1 to go for Sam there. Didn't really get to play the game very much, but
one thing I love about Sam is just he always has this super happy demeanor. Like, he's the type of player that loves playing this game. And no matter what, even though he didn't get to really play a card, he's still having fun, still able to talk with his friend as they're playing, even on this high
stakes match.
Yeah, high stakes match.
Yeah, no, Sam is a very, very charismatic guy. I think in a lot of ways he kind of breaks the mold of what the players, what serious competitive players are like. I think there's sometimes a stigma of, oh, you're playing serious matches, you got to be very, very straight-faced and, cold. But Sam's definitely not that way. I know right now, thankfully, the match table that they're playing on is a little bit far away from us, but I know there's definitely been events before where we can actually hear Sam just talking so loud and joking around with his opponent, kind of,
Yeah.
because he's not that far away from us. So Ryan too. Ryan's a really, really nice guy. Always, has lots of friends, always joking around. But Sam especially is kind of known for that.
And he always is just keeps his composure too, and it's the type of person that you'd really want like in a Pokemon like environment.
Right. So we didn't really get to talk about this, but because the match was so quick. But how do you actually see this matchup going? Assuming that both players get reasonable starts and everything, assuming that doesn't happen to Sam again, how do you think it actually works?
So Ryan's still kind of playing the list where you do.
Let's take a look at the
oh,
prizes
no.
real quick.
Hold up,
Wow.
We gotta talk about those Tapu Leles. They're his only two. He's not playing a Shaman.
And the Starmie line.
And the full Starmie line is in the prizes. You actually play the Starmie line because of Brooklet Hill. So you can search for Volcanion X, but yeah, now you can get a Staryu too. And Starmie, with its ability, is able to recycle your energies. You can essentially steam up twice every turn if you want to.
2 Trubbish prized for Sam, but that's really about it. He still has 2 more left. Not great. Not what you want to see, but they're certainly not as bad as Ryan's prizes.
Yeah, luckily he does draw a Trubbish, but Ryan's starting the Turtonator GX, which is honestly not a bad starter either. But having those Tapu Leles prize, he might be prone to a few more unable to play hands.
And it looks like Sam doesn't have all that great of a hand either. I see a Lysander and a Hex Maniac. He just attaches to the bench Trubbish, plays the Hex Maniac, and has to pass with an Oricorio active.
I don't know what's going on with Sam. Maybe just camera shy.
So I think so Ryan draws for turn. He has an Ultra Ball.
Okay.
He's going to find out pretty soon.
Okay, I love this hand from Ryan because he has 4 fire. He's going second. One thing that he could do, he has a Sycamore in hand also. So he can Sycamore away the 2 fire. And then if he draws another fire, he can Nitro Tank GX with Turtonator GX and attach the 4 fire he just discarded turn 1.
Let's see. He has attached. 2 are in the discard already. Here's a Sycamore.
So he chooses to attach. He wants to get the guaranteed 3 because he can always steam up.
Right.
It's a safer play.
Yeah,
Less
be pretty greedy to just
Yeah.
Sycamore away and miss your attachment.
Oh, he got an Ultra Ball and 2 more fires. I think we're going to see the full Nitro Tank this turn.
There's a non-EX Volcanion onto the bench.
Unfortunately for the rest of his hand, though, he has the Ultra Ball, but with both Leles being prized, he won't be able to do much from now on.
Yeah, so he's going to figure out what's going on with the Leles now.
Yeah.
Going to search through his prizes and say, man, my Starmie line and all my Leles, just decides to get a Volcanion EX, add the second one to
But
the
honestly,
bench.
can you really complain when turn 1 you're attaching 6 energies?
You cannot. Especially after Sam has just done nothing on his first turn.
Yeah, attached and played a Hex.
All right, so here we go.
Yeah, he did this all through Hex.
There's the
too.
GX
no steam
attack.
ups at all.
Yeah, no abilities to do anything. And we're seeing 2 energy attached to the active Turtonator GX and 3 onto the Volcanion EX on the board. On the
Yeah,
bench.
Nitro Tank GX allows you to attach it anywhere you want. Usually effects like these make it only to the bench Pokemon. But this means Turtonator's charged up, ready to go. And Sam can only hope to Lysander up the Volcanion and hope he doesn't have a way to retreat it.
Yeah, Sam drew a choice band for the turn, so did not add any draw support or anything too interesting to his hand, just has to Lysander and pass the turn back.
And we do see Ryan has the Float Stone.
Wow. Here comes that Volcanion EX. And now the Lysander even.
We actually
So-
saw in Ryan's hand he has the switch too, so it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
And he gets the Versus Seeker from the prizes.
And Tapu Lele off the top for Sam Chen can put him back into this game.
All right, yeah, he's not out of it yet.
Yeah,
He's
with,
surviving.
with Ryan having the switch, that was the last turn. Sam needed to draw something this turn.
Yeah.
So now he can find a draw supporter, kind kind of get himself back into this game. You can even find, like, I don't know if he plays like a Bridget or anything like that to just get Pokemon on the board. What do you expect to see here out of Sam?
Usually decks like these do play Bridget, or I see he's playing Fan Club.
Yeah, either or, yeah.
But I think you have to probably go N. His hand's not really good enough to
Just sit
do
back
much
on.
else.
Yeah, it looks like he has pulled an N to the front of his deck. Might be what he's going for. Just going to go ahead and, as we were talking about last game, check the prizes, make sure he knows exactly what's prized.
Yeah, because even if he does Bridget, his hand wasn't good enough before.
Right.
So he can't really claw out of it. But there's a Sycamore. He's just going like, all right, I just need more cards. Ryan only has 1 card in his hand. 2 cards maybe. So it's not really going to be... It's probably benefit Ryan more than him, honestly.
Yeah, it does take the Sycamore. 2 tools get attached there, a Floatstone and a Choice
Discarding
Band.
his hand one at a time.
Here's Sycamore, drawing 7 fresh cards for Sam.
He does get a double colorless. It's close to what he needs, but honestly, if Ryan draws a fire energy, this Tapu Lele is getting knocked out.
And there's 130 with Energy Drive, but still not great actually. Drawing that hand, he didn't get to put any troubleshoot on the board or anything. He just has to attach and attack. And there's a switch, setting up that Volcanion EX with the Floatstone.
It's always kind of like worried if you try to see if they forget about the volcanic heat.
Right.
Like, oh, I need to retreat.
Yeah, he has to put that Volcanion to the bench so it can reset Volcanic Heat so he can attack again, which he has done. And there are 2 Fire Energy in the hand as well as a Fighting Fury Belt.
Yeah, the Sycamore is great. And Fighting Fury Belt makes it so Volcanion can actually take the knockout with the Steam Up instead of the Turtonator. Because Turtonator would discard 2 of the Fire Energies and kind of set Ryan back a turn or 2. This way, Volcanion, bring it up, and then you can clean up whatever is left with Turtonator.
So we see the retreat into the Volcanion that has energy on it. We're going to see in Max Elixir before the knockout, and Ryan does find a Fire Energy, attaches it to the Volcanion with the
Sam
playing with the Tapu
spinning
Lele.
around. See, that's why I love him. That's just
Attachment from the hand to the bench to Volcanion for Ryan. And we're going to see a knockout here. Ryan takes 2 prizes, going down to only 3 remaining.
Can you believe that's only the 2nd Fire Energy Ryan actually attached from his hand this
Right.
game? It's just
So
insane.
Sam starts his turn. I think he drew a Drampa. He also was going to be able to rescue Stretcher back that Tapu Lele. Played onto the bench and use Wonder Tag. So he's able to kind of get that back, even though his hand wasn't super great. The Rescue Stretcher did kind of save him. Got to imagine he's finding another draw supporter here. Looks like he's decided on N.
Honestly, I just think Ryan's start with that Nitro Tank GX has been too much for Sam to handle, especially with him stalling a few turns a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that first turn, like, Sam had a pretty mediocre turn 1. That first turn from Ryan was just the best Volcanion turn I've ever witnessed personally. And then from there, he's just been able to, attack every turn. He had Lysanders both turns, which was convenient too, but he's really just been able to do whatever he's wanted. And he's getting N down to 3. Sam gets a fresh hand of 6, so there is some amount of kind of putting him on the back foot here, but does that really matter when you have all this energy on board? Like, you're kind of already doing what you need to do.
Yeah. The only thing he really needs in his hand is like Fire Energy to steam up.
And it looks like Sam, once again, did not draw a great hand. He has supporters for next turn, but he just has a Team Magma secret base he's considering playing.
Yeah, so he is able to take the knockout with Energy Drive, but there's still a fully powered Turtonator, a Volcanion EX that only needs 1 more energy, and all Ryan needs is 1 energy to knock out the Tapu Lele with Turtonator, and he drew it for the turn.
Sam also just drew the 2 Trubbish off the prizes. You can kind of see him, look at him there.
I forgot about that. The game's been too exciting. I forgot about how bad the prizes were for both players.
Floatstone from Ryan onto that Turtonator GX on the bench.
That's actually pretty big with him discarding 2 energy from Turtonator for its attack. Like, you can you're able to retreat it to the Volcanion and kind of clean up afterwards.
Ryan did find the Starmie off the prizes. Sorry, you rather. The Starmie is still prized, I believe, so he will be finding that off the Brooklet Hill. Gonna go ahead and take an extra second to look through his deck, make sure he knows about the resources that are left in there. And so we did see Ryan top deck that energy, as you said. He's just gonna go ahead and steam up.
And then we'll see a Bright Flame from Turtonator GX taking a knockout on the Tapu Lele again.
Yeah, so here it is, Bright Flame, putting Ryan down to just one prize remaining. Any knockout, such as one on that Oricorio or any of these Trebishes that Sam certainly has to play.
And he got the Starmie from the prizes.
Wow.
So now, if Sam doesn't have an N, Ryan will have access to as much energy as he really wants and needs, basically.
Yeah, this has not been a favorable match for Sam. He's barely been able to make any decisions, even in this game where he's gotten to play the Tapu Lele, it just hasn't really ended up mattering.
It's like all the good cards have been hiding in his deck.
Yeah.
They don't really want to come out and play.
And you see Sam considering playing the Trub, he plays the Tapu Koko. He's just got to be thinking, like, what can I even do now? I don't want to play these low HP Pokemon, but how do I win if I don't?
So there is 10 items in the discard, I believe, for Ryan.
Looks like that's what they're counting now.
Maybe 9, but it's still enough to take the knockout on most things.
So Team Magma, Secret Base, going to get rid of the Brooklet Hill.
And there we do see the Versus Seeker for an N.
Yeah, so how can Sam crawl back into this game? So step one is obviously the N. He needs to put Ryan on as few cards as possible. What else can he put together here? Do you think?
So one thing I always believe is play to your outs. Right now, Sam's out is for Ryan to never draw another energy. And then Sam definitely can put some pressure on with Tapu Koko and Flying Flip. It'll soften up everything on Ryan's side of the field and allow Garbodor to come in and trash Lance, clean up a few things. But with that hand, it's not really what you need. Like, he does have the Garbodor and an energy, but that's it.
Right, Ryan just reveals that he drew the Sycamore for the turn.
Oh no, poor
Wow,
Sam.
off the end of 1. So Flying Flip is going to deal 20 to all of Ryan's Pokemon. We also saw that Sam does have a handful of energy and...
he drew another Sycamore. All
wow,
he needs
just
is
the
one
rub-ins.
energy for the match.
And will he find it? 7 cards.
And there it is.
There's the energy. Attach, retreat. It's going to go ahead and play this like Volcanion, steam up, and that's the game. Wow, Ryan Sabelhaus in a dominant victory over one of the top 16 ranked in North America and one of the, I think, consensus best players.